Welcome to Haven Today at Christmas time. Tis the season for awkward family photos. Doesn't mean families necessarily feel awkward together, although that's sometimes true, but getting the perfect group picture often is, especially with little ones. Can generative AI solve the problem? There are lots of free options: Magic Eraser in Google Photos, Instagram's Restyle tool, and iPhone Cleanup tool. There are many others, but by this time next year, who knows what could be possible with AI? Some of those tools do a decent job, removing a background, fixing an ill-timed blink, but it's tempting to do more. Maybe more than we should. Do you go back and remove someone from years ago whose presence you'd rather forget? Or do you subtly improve someone's appearance? Truth is, there's much about the past we'd all like to alter or forget, but aren't you thankful God doesn't do that? He doesn't lie about the past, He redeems it in Christ. Welcome to Haven Today. I'm David Wolin, sharing the great story that's all about Jesus. We're in a series called Who Jesus Came For. Great stories have great opening lines. People love to quote how Charles Dickens opened up A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Or J.R.R. Tolkien. He captured our curiosity with, "In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit." And many years ago, when my wife and I were reading the best Christmas pageant ever, we got hooked with this opening line. The Herdmans were absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world.
The Herdmans are absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world.
What'd they do now, dear? Break another window?
Set something on fire?
Steal your lunch and then punch you for not having any candy? No, even worse. We're gonna be in your Bible play.
Herdmans in church.
Oh boy.
Well, yesterday we began a conversation with Dallas Jenkins, whose name may be familiar to you already. He's the creator of the Chosen TV series, but he also directed the new adaptation of the best Christmas pageant ever. And many are hailing this as an instant Christmas classic. But unlike just about every other film that comes to mind in the Christmas classic genre, this one really is a Jesus story, and one that has broad appeal for just about everyone who will see it. There aren't many films you can say that about, but this one, I think, is going to stand the test of time. At the center of the story is the Herdman family, or technically the Herdman kids, 6 of them. The parents are absent, which is probably why the kids are the way they are, well-known troublemakers, but they somehow get involved in a local church's Christmas pageant. And that's something Dallas and I talked about yesterday, why it was in the story that the kids got involved in the first place.
They're doing it for human reasons. She's like, we get to just not live our normal, awful lives for just one night, and we get to pretend to be people who matter. Because her siblings are like, how can we identify with these people, these characters? And she's trying to say, these characters are, known and famous 2,000 years later, and we can partake in that. And then when it comes time to perform it, the power of the story and the miracle of the incarnation overwhelms them. And then in turn overwhelms everyone who's watching. And it is a sacred moment in the book, and I hope it's a sacred moment in the film.
More with Dallas Jenkins in a bit, but I do want to comment on something he said. What is sacred in the film is that you get to see the gospel shown through the nativity landing home, and you see it through the eyes of a hurting child. She recognizes that the Son of God put himself into the lowliest, most desperate kinds of situations. And she is the main character, Imogene, along with her siblings. They all fit into that category. The one that Jesus described as the least of these. She realizes Jesus came for people like her. And it's powerful. We only scratched the surface yesterday. We'll dive back in and hear more today about how the gospel of Christmas can transform even the worst kids in the history of the world. But since all we're going to be doing is giving the backstory, there's only one way of experiencing the actual story of the best Christmas pageant ever, and that is to watch it. So we'd love to make that possible for you and your family. Here at Haven today, we have this Christmas film for you on DVD as our way of saying thank you for coming and standing alongside us during one of the most critical moments of the year, this 4-week period leading to the new year. In a way, every new ministry year depends on the previous December. We need about 3 times the amount of normal monthly giving to make the budget work in the new year. So I want to boldly ask you to partner with Haven through your gift. Would you, through your gift, help bring Jesus into the storms of life daily through Haven? Those storms are always there, either today or yet to come. That's life this side of heaven, but even more certain is the reality and daily presence of our Savior who calms the storms and us. That's a gift for the hurting world. And when you give, don't forget to request the best Christmas pageant ever. You can give by phone at 865-HAVEN, 865-HAVEN, or, probably faster, you can give online, even on your smartphone, at haventoday.org. haventoday.org. This is Haven Today. I'm David Wolin. Yesterday, we began a conversation with Dallas Jenkins, the director of the best Christmas pageant ever. We chatted about why he made the movie and how much the book that it's based on has meant to him and his family. If you missed that episode, you can hear it at haventoday.org. But for today, let me just give you a little stick around incentive. Dallas Jenkins is also the creator of the Chosen TV series, which has brought the stories of the Gospels to life on the screen. And over the last few years, they've become so popular. And toward the end of our conversation today, I'll ask Dallas about some of the insider information about season 6. But first, we need to pick up the conversation where we left off yesterday. I was asking Dallas about how he saw and sensed the Lord's presence and his help during the making of the best Christmas pageant ever.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, I don't know that I would say it was something that I didn't envision, but it was something that I hoped for and didn't know would be possible, which was the capturing of the big moment in the Christmas pageant. And when you cast these young kids to portray these roles,
Right.
And I'm like, this moment for me when I read it in the book was life altering. I mean, I was truly like weeping. I even as I'm talking about it now, I get a little bit emotional because I don't think my wife and I ever talked about that moment without crying. And now I've got to portray it on film,
Right.
and it's in the hands of kids. And of course, Judy Greer, who plays the mom,
Yeah,
who's
she did
wonderful, and Pete Holmes, who plays the dad, is great, and Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls. And so I knew that they could pull it off, but I'm like, the big moment is coming from these kids. So on the night that we're filming it, my wife we filmed it in Canada. She came out to visit because she's like, I got to be there for this scene. And the actress who plays Imogene is this girl named Beatrice Schneider. And so now it's time for the big moment. And I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's very emotional and it's a challenging role and a challenging moment to play. And she nailed it so beautifully on the first take. And tears are streaming down her face, and they're real tears. And I'm just like, this is proof that this is God's project in his story, because I'm not this good to be able to, I mean, I'm not good enough to give her all this motivation to cry and all that. And it was just, I still, every time I see her, I just go, thank you for giving me my movie, because this story, we don't get that moment right, the movie, I'm just making a fun comedy, and I'm not interested in doing that at this stage of my career. I really want to point people to Jesus, and this, girl from Canada, 12 years old, was a huge hand in that. And so that was when there was a little moment of heaven meeting earth, and I just remember just being so grateful.
As for ruining the whole thing, it seemed to me that the Herdmans had improved the pageant a lot. Just by doing what came naturally, like burping the baby, for instance, or thinking a ham would make a better present than a lot of perfume or oil. I realized I'd never really seen the Nativity before. but Imogene was helping me see it more clearly than ever.
I loved it. And you mentioned filming in Canada. That makes sense. I was just observing that. I was like, I think that's real snow. I think they filmed in a place that's actually cold. So you were up in, I think you said Winnipeg, maybe?
Winnipeg, yeah. And
Wow.
it was cold. There was one day that it was so cold, we had to shift a scene to move inside because even the Canadians couldn't take it.
That's how you know.
It was an abnormal attacking cold.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so there's some fake snow too, because sometimes you can't, because you're really going for that really timeless classic Christmas feel. And that's one of the things we're really proud of with the movie is the look of it. You can't tell what decade it's in. It just feels timeless. It feels like home. It feels like your upbringing, feels familiar.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you can't quite get exactly what you need. And sometimes it changes. The snow comes one day and then 3 days later it's gone. So we had to use a little movie magic at times. But yeah, we couldn't have filmed this in Texas, which is where we filmed The Chosen.
No, you couldn't have.
For sure. We needed a place like Canada.
I enjoyed just some of the really abstract things that are hard to even put into words, but if I'm going to try. The film itself, it's almost like a type of nostalgia, the same way that I think we as adults remember and imagine the things of our childhood that we love the most. And they're sort of bathed in this kind of incandescent glow. Yes. And there's a little bit of, I don't want to say a separation from reality or not real or fake. There's none of that. But there's just the way that people interact. It's just so much from the perspective of how a child would remember those precious, moments in their lives. And the film just sort of lives inside of that universe, and it just doesn't break from it. It just works.
That's so insightful, and I'm so grateful to hear you say that, because that's like almost word for word the conversations we were having, which is, okay, this is a young girl's memory. I mean, now she's played, it's an adult thinking back on it, but so we just referred to it as heightened reality. We didn't want to break from reality so much that you couldn't relate to the story. Yeah. But some of the humor, some of the way that the stories are told is just a little bit heightened. The emotions are heightened. Like when she says the Herdmans were absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world. They smoke cigars, even the girls, like they took the Lord's name in vain. And these are the things that to her were the worst things in the history of the world. Right. And we wanted to find that middle ground between that kind of cliched where everything's glowing, we didn't want it to be that far, but Norman Rockwell was our inspiration. And so the framing was always, it was painterly. So a lot of this was very intentional. We wanted it to be a series of Norman Rockwell paintings, but that were alive. And so I'm so glad you noticed that. We've heard that a lot. It feels timeless. It feels like a memory. My production designer used the word then. He goes, you don't know exactly what it is. You don't know the decade. It just feels like then. Yeah. And for whatever that is to you. And I'm so proud of the team that helped me pull that off.
Well, then came with no cell phones, station wagons, things that we all go, well, it's not now. That's for sure.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, but kids still, we've still heard that kids love it as well. So it's not like they're going, oh, that feels old fashioned.
Oh, no.
I think the spirit of it represents any time period, including today.
Yeah. Well, and that's good, because ideally, especially with a holiday film of any kind, but this is a very specific Christmas film, you want the whole family, and the whole family wants to be gathered there, and nobody wants to be forced. Everybody wants to watch it together. And, that's our plan right now. Marcy said specifically, you get to watch this film because you're going to talk to Dallas and you're going to, do the radio program and all that. But I'm not watching it. We're watching it the day after Thanksgiving as a family.
I get it. That makes sense. Yeah. Christmas is my favorite time. I love Christmas movies. My favorite movie of all time is It's a Wonderful Life. We have our Christmas traditions, but we wouldn't start watching until after Thanksgiving.
Oh, no, you can't.
I'm with Marcy on this one. But I'm glad you watched it for the conversation.
I am too.
Everyone agreed it was the best ever, but nobody seemed to know why exactly. One thing I did know, because of my mom and her understanding of the Christmas story, the Herdmans finally got what they needed most all along: a community. But they gave us something we needed all along too. For years, I thought about the wonder of Christmas and the mystery of Jesus' birth and never really understood it. But now, it didn't seem so mysterious after all. When Imogene asked me what the pageant was about, I told her it was about Jesus, but that was just part of it. It was about a new baby and his dirt-poor mother and father who were in a lot of trouble. No money, no place to go, no doctor, nobody they knew, no respect. But they were the ones God chose to help change the world.
It's been such a joy to just enjoy the film itself. It was a fun time talking to your screenwriter, Ryan Swanson. His insights were so helpful, and we enjoyed having him on the air. But I'm so glad that you and I were able to make the time to connect. And, you know, our listening audience, Haven audience, we love The Chosen. We love what you've been doing. So just for one quick moment from the best Christmas pageant ever, we're just going to be curious. What's up? What's coming up? What's on the docket with what you're working on next?
So right now I am editing season 6. This is the crucifixion season. We just finished filming that recently. Working on the scripts for season 7, which is the resurrection season, which we'll be filming next year. We are in the final week of filming our Joseph miniseries. I'm not directing that one, but I'm overseeing it, and that's been filming in New Mexico, which is the story of Joseph of the Old Testament and his brothers and the coat and the whole 9 yards. And so that's going to be our next live action Chosen spinoff, as it were, part of the Chosen Bible universe. And then just recently, which you don't have to wait for Christmas to watch, but you can watch with your family, is The Chosen Adventures, which is our animated series.
Yes, I've heard of that.
Yeah, 14 episodes, 11 minutes apiece. Your family's perfect for it. So you have a task for tonight. You can get it. It's on Prime Video and on Minnow. So I know some families prefer their kids watch stuff on Minnow, which is safe. It's not like if they browse for other projects, they're going to come across anything negative or bad. But Prime Video, Minnow is where you can find The Chosen Adventures. It's the show told through the eyes of Abigail and Joshua, who were the 2 kids in season 1 of The Chosen who meet Jesus. And that's gotten a tremendous response. We've been so proud of that. And that's also, again, similar vibe to Best Christmas Pageant Ever, where it's whimsical, charming, funny, all of that, but it's also got very deep meaning. And so we always like to say that kids might push play on it, but the adults will enjoy it as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, we love what you're doing, and thank you so much for making time in the midst of all that busyness, not to mention the holiday ramp up here, which is going to make things even busier in the weeks ahead. But this was great, and I'm thrilled that we're able to offer this to our listeners, the best Christmas pageant ever. Now it's out on DVD. Dallas Jenkins, thank you very much.
Thanks so much, David. Great to talk to you.
This is Haven Today. I'm David Wolin. December flies by. We all know that, and yet still manage to be caught off guard, don't we? I always remind myself that what I do early in this season, I'll be grateful for later on. And that most definitely applies to making a gift of support to Haven and getting your copy of the best Christmas pageant ever. And your gift today gets it out in the mail sooner. We laid in a large inventory of these because we were certain they'd be going like hotcakes, and here on day 3 of the series, I can tell you they are, and for good reason. 865 Haven is the number to call to make your early December gift to Haven today. The number again is 865 Haven, or go online to haventoday.org, haventoday.org. I'm David Wolin. Won't you come back again next time? We'll be keeping it all about Jesus. It's the great story here on Haven Today.